What is up, guys? Vince the Prince back again here for another video of the Power Rankings. This is week 13. Another crazy week, Some people played well, some people didn't for fantasy. So hopefully you were on the receiving end of a dub there as we close down playoffs. But here for the Power Rankings, I'm pretty sure you're just hoping to see your team probably make it into the top 10, top 15, because those are really the teams that will be going into the playoffs or are fighting for a playoff spot. So let's get right into it. Week 13 here, we're going to go over the grading criteria. Offensive grading will be points scored, offensive efficiency, and strength of defensive matchup. On the defensive grading, it'll be points allowed, defensive efficiency, and strength of offensive matchup. So, of course, as we always do it, wherever your team falls, go ahead and put down in the comments why they are there, if you have any questions on that, or why you think they should be higher. And then I'm more than happy to tell you why I have them where they're at. Here we go. Number 32. I'm going to have the Las Vegas Raiders. Again, just another loss. It wasn't too bad against Denver, 19-29, but it was expected. I have the Raiders here at number 32 for the past 3 weeks, and they're just going to stay there. Really nothing more I can say. Poor Gardner Minshew. Believe he broke his collarbone, so he should be out for the rest of the season. We'll see if he can come back next season for the Raiders. I don't know. For somebody else, very possibly. Alrighty, at number 31, I'm going to have the New York Giants. So they had a really bad loss to the Buccaneers. This one was pretty bad, and I dabbled with maybe, and for lack, I hope you like that joke, dabbled. But yeah, Brian Dabble over here with the Giants. I really dabbled with them trying to go down to 32, but I just didn't. I think they're still better than the Raiders at this point in time, especially with the quarterback situation there. I think Drew Lock should be starting, and I think that makes them better than the Raiders and Aiden O'Connell. So Giants are going to be at 31 here. I don't think it's going to be really all that good next week because, of course, they're going to face the Cowboys. I think this should be a loss for them. The Cowboys have been seeing some momentum showing from the past week, so maybe the Cowboys will beat them. But yeah, this past game was just really bad for them against the Bucks, 7-30. So I don't expect it to go any more better than against Dallas. So should see them trending down next week. And at number 30, I'm going to have the New Orleans Saints. This past week, they had their bye week, but they see themselves moving down. And the reason that is because I think they are most likely going to move down again this week. They're going to go up against the Los Angeles Rams, my bad. And I think they're going to get the L here, unless something miraculous happens and that team just rebounds. But LA and the Rams are looking for a dub here so they can stay relevant in the NFC West race. And that's what I'm betting on here. So I think the New Orleans Saints will lose a game. We'll see if they move down because the teams below them not that much better. At 29, I'm going to have the Jacksonville Jaguars. Last week, they also had a bye, but they find themselves moving down to 29 here. So again, that is because the pending matchup. Going to face the Houston Texans. I think this is a game maybe they could stay in there, possibly even win. So we'll see if they move back up. But Houston just could have a rebound game. We never know. It's a divisional game. Could be a good one. We're going to have to wait and see. At 28, I'm going to have the Tennessee Titans. I mean, Tennessee pulled the shocker last week, winning 32-27 against Houston, the team I just talked about, going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars right before this. We'll see. I mean, the Titans have another tough matchup next week. Can they pull the upset again on another 7-win team? Washington is the team there. I think Washington should have this in the bag, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee pulls something out. They're behind and goes and gets this dub. But we'll have to wait and see. Week 13 could be another week of matchups that are not what you expect. At number 27, I'm going to have the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they played a good game this past week against the Commanders. I did not expect it from them, winning 34-26 in that crazy last 2 minutes of the game. It was just a crazy fourth quarter in general. A lot of points scored there. So we'll see if that can happen again this week. I alluded to this earlier. They're going to face the New York Giants. I think this should be an easy dub for them. But then again, a whole lot could go wrong. But it is Thanksgiving. It's in Dallas. Maybe this is the first one they get. And Dallas fans actually have something to cheer about on Thanksgiving. Of course, besides being with family. But good luck to Dallas. We'll see what happens. I'm rooting for them. At number 26, I'm going to have the New York Jets. Again, they didn't move down for me. It was their bye week. I still think they have a good team, but of course, Aaron Rodgers is just, in my opinion, holding them back. And I think he's going to do that again this week. So we'll have to wait and see. They're going to go up against my Seattle Seahawks, as you can see right here. Um, I think it's going to be a good game. Do I think it's probably going to be closer than I like? Probably. I've been trash talking the Jets this whole season. I know Dizzle's waiting to go in the comments and say the Jets are going to win, but I don't think the Jets will win. I think Seattle's defense is playing well, and I think the offense is playing well too. The only thing I'm scared of here is probably Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall. If they get going, it's going to be pretty tough to stop them, but I think our defense can hold it down. So for now, the Jets are at 26. Will they stay there? Will they move up? Will they move down? We'll have to wait and see. And if they do move up, please, guys, come check on me. At 25, I'm going to have the New England Patriots. So basically up there in that northeastern side of the United States is where these last two teams have fallen. But the bad loss here for the New England Patriots, 15-34, moves them down to 3-9. And I mean, this week, it's not going to get much easier. Going against the Indianapolis Colts, who are actually playing pretty decent under Anthony Richardson. Of course, this last game wasn't Anthony Richardson's best, but neither was it for Drake May. So, again, this could be a tough one. Indianapolis is favored already, so New England is not projected to win. I don't think they will actually either. I think the Colts are trying to make a push of something, see if they can sneak into the playoffs. I don't know if they will, but they also just want to get some momentum. So, New England, you might be moving down. Don't let it happen. Alrighty. At 24, I'm going to have them again right here. Carolina Panthers. They had a tough loss. 27-30 against Kansas City. Almost pulled off the upset. I mean, it would have been great. Me and Reed talked about it this whole past week in week 12, saying that Kansas City might lose. And of course, they're going to keep it close. But yeah, pretty crazy. I'd love to see it. But of course, next week they're going to go up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this one should be a close one as well. The way the Panthers have been playing, I really like it. Bryce Young is getting on track, and it's exactly what Carolina wants. So again, could be a good one to watch on Sunday at 3 o'clock window. So make sure you tune in. I think you'll like it. At 23, I'm going to have the Indianapolis Colts here. Just talked about them a little bit, but this past week they had the tough loss. Yeah, 6-24 against Detroit. Was expected. Detroit's defense is good. Detroit's offense is also good. And I feel like this game went by pretty quickly because of the run game. But Indy this week is going to go up against New England. I think it's going to be a pretty tough matchup. So, again, I do think Indy should win, but it's not going to probably be the prettiest one that they want to see. Two young quarterbacks, one of them a rookie, and then, of course, Anthony Richardson. I still count him as a rookie because he hasn't played more than 17 games yet. But we'll have to wait and see. I think Anthony Richardson has a chip on his shoulder right now. He's putting a statement down there in Indianapolis, and should be a fun one to watch. Now at 22, this one's pretty crazy. Haven't had them this far since week 11, and they're back here. Just up and down season for the Chicago Bears. I really can't say much. The Bears are going to bear. I mean, Reed says it all the time. I think it's just going to happen again this week. I mean, it was 27-30 against Minnesota, and I think it's going to be even worse here going against Detroit this week. Detroit is just on a roll like they should be, 10-1. Chicago's 4-7, not really fighting for a playoff spot whatsoever. And I mean, did we really expect them to? No, they should be getting some more good draft picks this year and keep adding to this team because they need to get younger. A lot of these older guys are probably going to be moving on, and I think they need to also build in the trenches because that's how you build a franchise. You got the quarterback that you want. Hopefully he can keep progressing, but as of right now, they need to draft. At 21 here, I did not expect myself to put them this low again this season. I thought they were going to go on a hot streak, but it's going to be the Cincinnati Bengals. At 4-7, just like the Bears before them, it hasn't really been the best. And this, of course, was their bye week, but I have them moving down here. And that's only because they're going to go against a tough divisional matchup. The Steelers. 8-3, they just took the L to the Cleveland Browns. Not what you want to see from Pittsburgh, but I don't think they do it 2 weeks in a row to some teams who are below 500, especially in their division. So I think they're going to come out here into Cincinnati, put the hurt on Cincinnati. We've seen some pretty nasty games between these two teams, and I think we're probably going to see one this week. Probably a lot of fights, but hopefully they can keep it, chill. Also play a good game on both sides. Should be a good offensive matchup for both of these teams. Pittsburgh going up against a weak defense in the Cincinnati Bengals, and Cincinnati having one of the best offenses at this point in time going up against Pittsburgh. So should be a good one, 12 o'clock on Sunday. I think I'm looking forward to this one. At number 20, I'm going to have the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, I did not expect the Falcons to pretty much go down this week, but with the teams above them that actually played well, they had to move down on their bye week. So it is what it is. Some people move up, some people move down, some people stay the same. So you'll see that all throughout this video since there were 6 teams this past week that had bye weeks. Lucky for y'all, though, this week, no bye weeks. So it should be fun to see everybody move up and move down because of wins and losses. But at number 20 here, they are going to go up against the LA Chargers. Should be a tough matchup here as the Chargers also took the close L this past week. I'm going to really like this game. This is another 12 o'clock game that I will have on my TV screen, in the split screen and everything like that, along with Red Zone on my phone. But I'm looking forward to this one. I think this one should be a good one. LA's defense is playing well. Offense has been picking it up. And Atlanta's kind of been going through some turmoil. So I think it's time for them to turn it around at least. We'll have to wait and see. This one should be a good one. So make sure you tune in and see what happens. Week 14 Power Rankings. At number 19, I'm going to have the Houston Texans. I mean, again, Houston just hasn't been this far down all season since I've been doing these videos, but I think they deserve to move down. Really, they have not been playing their best ball, and that showed this week, losing to Tennessee 27-32. As I alluded to from the past team that I talked about with the Jacksonville Jaguars, I mean, they're going against Houston. It's a home game in Jacksonville. I don't really know what's going to happen in this game. Houston could possibly rebound, or Jacksonville could just continue to play well and get a close win against the Texans. I don't really know. Me and Reed have talked about this in our Monday overreactions. Can we really trust CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans? I don't know if I'm going to do it this week, especially with the spread so far. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, football's getting close, so tonight should start everything, and we'll see this game on Sunday. At number 18, I'm going to have the Miami Dolphins. I mean, not too bad from what they did this past week. The W against the Pats, 34-15, that's kind of what you want to see this team doing. And that's why we've missed Tua pretty much half the season when he was injured. But they're really going to need him this week because they're going up against Green Bay in Green Bay at Lambeau Field. It's going to be probably cold on Thanksgiving night. Expect possibility of snow, and probably expect the Miami Dolphins not to play as well as they did this past week against the Patriots. So if it snows, I think Miami is going to be in a world of hurt because Green Bay thrives in those types of games, especially now with the new addition of Josh Jacobs. But we'll have to wait and see. This one should be a fun one. Thursday night football, Thanksgiving night. Make sure you celebrate with your family and make sure you have this game on. At number 17, I'm going to have the LA Rams. I mean, they didn't play that bad in this game. You expected them to lose to Philadelphia, 37-20 with the late touchdown there from Philadelphia at the end to kind of seal this game. It wasn't bad from the Rams. Again, like I said, it was an expected loss. But this week, going up against the Saints, it should be a dub for them. So I'm expecting them to win. I don't want them to win for the division standings and everything like that, but I do think LA is the better team here. But again, New Orleans could come and surprise us, and I wouldn't mind that at all. At number 16, this is probably the biggest jump in my entire power ranking series here. I'm gonna have the Cleveland Browns actually. So they're just an underdog, and I really like it with Jameis Winston there at the helm. So this past week, getting the dub against the Steelers, 24-19. That's two dubs against two highly ranked teams, the Baltimore Ravens and the Steelers. And I know it's a division rivalry, so anything could happen, but Cleveland's just been playing good. Defensively, of course, we know what they can do, but offensively, sometimes they stun us. And this was another game. Next week, they're going to go against Denver, another tough defense to play against, and I think Jameis will be ready for it. It's not at home, so we'll see how they do. But at 3-8, we really don't have high expectations for them with the team that they have around them. But Jameis could surprise us, and I wouldn't mind watching that. Monday Night Football, so we'll be live, me and Reed, and hopefully it's a good one. At number 15, I'm going to have the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, they played well this past week. Not. Seahawks right here. As you see, I'm a fan of the Seahawks. If you don't know already, I say it every video. But we won 16-6 against the Arizona Cardinals. It was basically the win that we needed to make sure we get into first place in the NFC West. And we did. We're tied with the Arizona Cardinals there, but we have the tiebreaker because we beat them, playing them again in week 14. But for now, Arizona is going to play the Minnesota Vikings this week. I think this should be an L for them, and I think that will benefit us and possibly the 49ers if the 49ers can squeak a win in this week. But right now, Seattle, again, is the only team in this division that actually has a pretty favorable matchup, besides LA Rams, like I've talked about before. But Arizona could be a loss, but the Minnesota Vikings haven't been playing their best football. A lot of close wins for them. So Arizona might be able to pull the stunner, and I would probably hate to see that. But for you, Arizona Cardinals fans, Big E, you might like it. So let us know what you think down in the comments. At 14, I'm going to have the other Los Angeles team, the Chargers. This past week, again, a tough loss. So again, 23-30 isn't so bad against Baltimore. But again, I wanted the Chargers to win this game. I thought they were the better team at this point in time. I thought they could pull the stunner on the Baltimore Ravens, but it did not end up going that way for them. So this week, hopefully, it's a better turnout. They're going to go against the Atlanta Falcons, who aren't as tough on defense and offense at this point in time. So I think this should be a dub for the LA Chargers, but it could also be close if Kirk Cousins comes to play. So we'll have to wait and see. I think this one should be an interesting game. So let us know. Hopefully, Liam, you're happy after this. I think you might. But let us know down in the comments what you think of the LA Chargers being at 14. Now here at unlucky number 13, you guessed it. I have San Francisco 49ers. They just had a lot of injuries, and I've shared my sympathies with AJ. But I'm also not mad that we're ahead of them in the division because we were not expected to be here. But San Francisco had the loss here to Green Bay after losing pretty much majority of their team, if I'm not being exaggerating at all. But yeah, they lost a lot of guys. It was really just Debo and Kittle, and that's about it. So everybody else was pretty much out, and it just was not a good loss. I mean, 10-38, you never want to lose like that, especially when you're supposed to be the San Francisco 49ers. But they're going into Buffalo in this next game, and they're 7-point dogs. So I think I'm going to take the spread on this from what I saw them play against the Green Bay Packers. I think Buffalo is a better team, and I think their offense is pretty much more potent. Sorry, Reed. But yeah, that's just what I think right now at 9-2. They're playing very good, and I think San Francisco might be getting a loss this week. At number 12, I mean, come on, guys. 12s. I have the Seattle Seahawks. So it is what it is. I think we are the better team right now in comparison to San Francisco and everybody else in our division. We've pretty much beaten all of them except for the LA Rams. So it is what it is. We're number one in the division right now. And with all the injuries to San Francisco, I think that makes us the best team in the division as of this point. Until everybody comes back from injury, then I think San Francisco is better than us with the roster that they have and the guys that are actually healthy. But for now, Seattle goes against New York after beating up on the Arizona Cardinals earlier. And the Jets are not a bad team. So again, on paper they are, and with their record they are, but they just pick and choose when they want to play good, and sometimes they do. And in New York, this might be a hard one to win for the Seattle Seahawks, but we'll have to wait and see. Usually, when we travel over to this time zone, we usually get the dub. So hopefully that is the case here, and hopefully we go up to 7-5. At number 11, I'm gonna have the Washington Commanders after the tough loss to the Cowboys, 26-34. Like I said earlier when I talked about the Cowboys, this game was just insane. I mean, I didn't really expect it to go that way so late in the game. It looked like a stinker the whole time, and it looked like the Commanders were going to pull it out, but they didn't. And this week is going to be much tougher for them to get another W. I mean, they're playing up against another team who's been, playing fairly well against tougher matchups. Going up against Tennessee, with the Commanders playing really bad last week, I really don't know what to expect. Hopefully, it was just one of those games where nothing's going right, and hopefully they can rebound against the Tennessee Titans. I think they should win here, but again, I could be totally surprised. Who knows? But Sunday at 12, I probably won't be watching this game because I'm expecting Washington to win, but hopefully, at least for fantasy purposes, a lot of guys play well. And here we go, cracking into the top 10. I'm going to have the Denver Broncos. I did not expect to put the Denver Broncos this high ever in this power rankings series, and I'm utterly surprised. Bo Nix has played very well, and he continues to, shatter the expectations. I think right now he should be, if not tied, maybe the front runner for the Rookie of the Year right now. But this past game wasn't something to rave home about, 29-19 against the Arizona Cardinals. It was an expected win, in my opinion. And this next week should be another expected win with the way the defense and offense are playing. They're going to go up against the Cleveland Browns. Again, I've already talked about the Cleveland Browns are underdogs here, at least by 5.5 points on Yahoo Sports. So we'll see. I think I'm going to pick the Denver Broncos here. I really would like to see Jameis Winston put another stunner on someone else, but so far it looks like he's only been able to do it against divisional rivals. And when he's not playing a divisional rival, he doesn't usually play well. So we'll see if that stays true. But Denver should get this dub, and maybe they'll be moving up farther into the top 10. At number 9, I kind of fiddled with not having this team here, especially with their record at this point in time. But I'm going to have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sitting at 5-6. Took the dub pretty easily against the New York Giants. I mean, 30-7, that's what you want. And that's why I think I kept them here inside the top 10, just because it was a solidified statement win. So again, I already talked about this earlier when I talked about Carolina, but that is the foe that Tampa Bay will be going up against this week. They are 6 points in favor of winning this game, but Carolina has been playing very well. So again, I really don't know who to choose here in the pick'ems. It's on Sunday at 3 o'clock window. And I mean, I think I really want to watch this game. So again, not too many games that are going to be at this point in time. So it's going to be in the triple, quadruple box screen, depending on if I want to watch all 4 games. So it should be a good one. Hopefully Tampa Bay gets the dub here because they need it to take that division away from the Falcons. But we'll have to wait and see. And at number 8, I'm going to have the Minnesota Vikings. Again, Minnesota has been just up and down with their wins and losses. But this win, 30-27 against the Bears, it was all right. Divisional foe, played decently well, but I could have probably expected more. Of course, the Bears did play well, so I can't hold it against the Minnesota Vikings. Sometimes you just can't hold the team off too much. But next week, hopefully you can hold this team off, the Arizona Cardinals. Because I, as an NFC West team, basically, fan of a team there, I want the Arizona Cardinals to lose. So Minnesota, I am rooting for you since this is a home game. Hopefully, inside that dome, play well. But yeah, so we'll see what happens at the end of this game. It's on Sunday at 12. And hopefully, Arizona takes the L. At number 7, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers falling here after the tough loss against Cleveland. So a divisional game, everybody knows that during divisional games, anything can happen. And that's what happened here for the Steelers. Losing 19-24 on a statement win for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, Pittsburgh, what happened? But next week they have another divisional foe, and it's going to be against the Cincinnati Bengals, who have a much better offense than the Cleveland Browns. So if the Pittsburgh Steelers want to win, their offense has to show up too, because the defense will for sure. They play their hearts out every single game. I mean, T.J. Watt goes insane, takes on double teams, gets at the quarterback, pressures all the time, and the backfield helps out as well. So that whole unit on the defensive side is doing their best, holding their own. And really, Pittsburgh and the offense with Russell Wilson need to step it up. So if they don't, it's going to be tough. I mean, they might not even make the playoffs if they keep losing at this rate. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think Pittsburgh has a good chance of winning this game, even though they are not favored. Sitting at 6, I'm going to have right here for you, Reed, Green Bay Packers. So I know you wanted them to be in the top 5, but for some reason, I just could not put them there. So this past week, they had the big dub against the 49ers, 38-10. And I mean, statement win. You expected to win this game with all the injuries that the 49ers had. I wish it was a better game, of course. But when 49ers lose, I'm not mad. So, but this week, it should be a tougher matchup, in my opinion. It is in Green Bay, so that's where you get the advantage. But Miami Dolphins, they've been looking better and better each week. Defense plays a little bit better. Offense is getting a little bit more well-oiled to get that engine running. But, I mean, it should be a dub here for the Packers as long as they play their game, rush the ball, and hopefully the weather helps. But I'm not really expecting too much from the Dolphins here on Thursday night. I mean, this might just be a game where you just have it on in the background while you're hanging out with family and eating. But it might be a good one. So I'm hoping for a good one, and we'll have to wait and see. At number 5, I'm going to have the Baltimore Ravens. And I really don't have too much to say here. I mean, winning 30-23 against the Chargers was probably expected of Baltimore Ravens fans. So yeah, it was an expected win against the LA Chargers. And I mean, a good win, but really not something to move them up, and that's why they're staying at 5 here. I still think they're a great team. I just think they need to win by a little bit more in order for me to put them back somewhere into the top 3. But at this point in time, I don't think the Baltimore Ravens fans are wishing anything else. I mean, they're still winning. They're probably going to get a good position there in the AFC playoff race. So I don't really see anybody in the division catching them, especially the way the Steelers are playing. But even then, I still think they'll make the playoffs with the record that they have. This week's going to be a tough one, though. And I really want to watch this game at 3:25. So this one will for sure be on my screen. Philadelphia versus Baltimore. It is in Baltimore, so that's where the advantage comes. But again, Eagles have been playing phenomenally at this point in time, especially with the run game. So I don't really know how this one's going to shake out, but I think I might be taking Philly. So we'll have to wait and see. And right there at number 4, the Philadelphia Eagles. So again, let's talk about their last matchup. The LA Rams won 37-20. Was an expected win, and they performed very well, especially against a team that doesn't really have the best defense, especially the run defense. And that's why you saw a lot of running there. But going to go up against Baltimore. It should be a really fun one, especially going against Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, just matching up. I think I'm going to be betting on this game because it should be a high-powered offensive game. Defenses will show up, but I think running game and the passing game is just going to be too much for both defenses. So if you want to take the over on this one, it's 51.5 on most betting sites. I think I'm going to do that, but we'll have to wait and see. So it should be a really good one. And at number 3, I'm going to have the same team as last week, Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, their win against the Carolina Panthers, as expected, wasn't going to be by a bunch of points, but I expected them to look a little bit better. 30-27 wasn't what I was expecting. I thought maybe the defense would have come to play a little bit more, but they didn't, and Carolina put up some good points on them, sometimes pretty easily. They're going to go up against the Las Vegas Raiders. It was a close game last time. This one, they should win by a lot, especially with the injuries to Las Vegas. I know Brock Bowers is still there, but really you can't let the Las Vegas Raiders put that much points on your defense with one guy because really nobody else, besides their running backs who just pop off randomly, nobody else is playing well. So Kansas City, if you don't win by 14, think I may have to be forced to move you down. But let me know. I know you Kansas City fans always tell me they probably should be higher. They're 10-1. Why aren't they at number 1? But I don't know. They're just not convincing to me. So still a great team for sure. Still somebody to reckon with. But at this point in time, I just don't think I'm going to move them up unless they give me a convincing win. And at number 2, I'm going to have the Buffalo Bills. I think they are one of the best teams in the league right now. Even though their record is at 8-3, it's still a good record. And many teams would want to be 9-2 at this point in time. Haven't updated that on my little streak over here. But yeah, 9-2, Buffalo Bills. Great win this past week because they had the bye. So basically, they're all rested up, and I love that because they're going against the San Francisco 49ers this week. And I think being all rested up, especially against a team that's banged up, should be an easy win. Buffalo right now is favored by 7 on most betting sites, and I think they're going to obliterate that, especially if Brock Purdy's not back. Of course, 49ers might get some defensive pieces and offensive pieces back, but without Brock Purdy, this engine doesn't roll like that. So hopefully CMC gets some good points. Debo, Kittle, if you have them, hopefully they get some good points too for you. But right now, I really don't think San Francisco 49ers have a chance. Buffalo should stay at number 2. And shocker, shocker, Detroit Lions at number 1, guys. I mean, they are the best team in the NFL at this point in time. They prove it every week. This past week, again, Indianapolis, 24-6. Wasn't Detroit's best offensive game, but I don't fault them for it. Indianapolis has a great defensive line, so they get pressure every now and then. They stop the run pretty frequently, but Detroit still won by multiple scores. So that's what you like to see from a top-ranked team. So Detroit at 10-1, I think they deserve to be here. So going up against Chicago Bears in a divisional rivalry, it's at home. They're favored by a lot of points. I mean, every betting site is probably different, but here on Yahoo Sports by 9.5, so they have to win by 10. I think that's very feasible, especially the way the Chicago Bears are playing right now. I think the Detroit defense can get the best of them, especially Caleb Williams, and really stop the run there too. So it might be a tough one to Chicago Bears, and Detroit should stay the Kings on top. But of course, that'll be my power rankings video there. A little shorter than usual, so if I didn't elaborate on your team, comment down below if you want more elaboration, and I will do so for you to why they are there. But hopefully you like where your team is ranked. If you don't, of course, down in the comments again, let me know. Or you can DM me. Everything is down there. You can join the Discord and DM me there, or Twitter, anywhere, Facebook, all that stuff. I am there and readily able to talk with you. So, of course, hopefully you like these videos. Let me know what I can do better. Make sure you hit the like button if you like it. And, of course, hit the subscribe button if you're feeling generous and you haven't done so already. But other than that, guys, we'll see you again next week on Thursday. This video did air a little bit earlier just because of Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving games early on in the day. But next week it'll come out at 12 again. So hopefully you like that time, especially during lunch break if you have that to watch the video. But if not, watch later. Let me know what you think. And of course, as we always say, guys, keep on grinding.